Well, here we are, Cincinnati versus Colorado. A lot of us had this game as a win at the beginning of the season, just looking at the schedule and just looking at the teams that we thought Colorado would beat, right? I think I speak for the majority of us that going into the season, we assumed that this Cincinnati game was probably going to be one of the easier games and we were going to probably be able to dominate them and beat them. Well, the interesting thing is Cincinnati is an interesting team. Cincinnati presents some interesting challenges that I don't think any of us were prepared for. At least I wasn't prepared for. I've been watching Cincinnati play a couple of games. I've been looking at Cincinnati players. I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to call this game and what I'm going to put in this video, because honestly, I'm not sure. Cincinnati does a lot of great things. Their defense is decent. It's not great, but their defense is decent. Their offense runs the ball. Their quarterback can scramble. They have receivers that can catch the ball. And so this is one of those games where I have been saying all along, I don't know who Colorado is. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop the run this game. I don't know if their offense is going to be clicking. I don't know if they're the defense that I saw them play against Arizona, or I don't know if they're the defense I saw them play against Kansas State. I don't know who this Colorado team is. And so because of that, making these videos are really hard because I just don't know what I'm going to get. But I'm going to do like I always do. I'm going to try to provide some context and try to provide some additional information and then pick who I think is going to win this game on the other side of this video. The thing that really worries me about Cincinnati is they've been battle tested. And what I mean by that is they've been in games where they were behind and they had to catch up. They've been in games where they're playing against a high-powered offense and they had to compete against Texas Tech. They end up losing by 3. I watched them play Pitt at the beginning of the season. They lost by 1 point. So they've had a lot of games where they were in really, really tight games and they had to figure it out. The other thing that they've done really well is they've started games slow, and they've started games like throwing an interception or getting scored on, or they've just started really slow, and they've been able to recover and come back and win those games. And so Cincinnati presents an interesting challenge for CU. Do I think CU has more athletes than Cincinnati? Yes. I think Colorado might be more athletic than Cincinnati. I do agree with that. The problem is, though, I'm starting to realize that there are some things that Colorado does that just don't end up in winning football, and so it's concerning with me. I think if Colorado gets down, their urge to have to hurry up and score is evident. I don't think Colorado wants to run the ball. They just know that they need to run the ball because this is football, but I really don't think they want to. So because there's a lot of undisciplined things that the Colorado coaching staff does, I'm not sure what to make of this Colorado team. I'm not sure what kind of play calling they're going to get. I'm not sure what I think. I'm just going to do like I always do. I'm going to tell you the 3 things that I'm going to be looking out for this game, and then I'll make a prediction on the other side of this. This is going to be the game. The keys to success, or the 3 things I'm going to be looking for this game, are going to be very simple, and it's going to be basic. Can Colorado protect Shedeur? Like I said in the last video, not only can they protect Shedeur because of that offensive line, because they're going to be going against a good defensive line, can they protect Shedeur with the offensive line? Will the coaches decide to protect Shedeur and call some run plays that will allow Shedeur to do what he needs to do and will back off those defenders off of him? And will Shedeur protect Shedeur? When Shedeur feels jittery in the pocket, you can tell he starts to spin out and he starts to rotate out and he starts to do all these different things. I have seen Cincinnati stop a lot of quarterbacks that are trying to escape and do all these different things. They're deceptively fast. I'm not going to sit here and say Cincinnati has one of the top defensive lines, but they're not bad. They're not a bad team. And I think that if we're not careful, they can present some challenges for us. So the first thing I'm going to be paying attention to is protecting Shedeur. Shedeur protecting Shedeur, the coaching staff protecting Shedeur, and that offensive line protecting Shedeur. The second thing I'm going to say is, can we stop the run? Not just stopping the run from the running backs, but also this quarterback likes to scramble. There's a lot of triple option things. There's a lot of just different combinations where Cincinnati will run the ball out of. And so I hope that Colorado is ready to stop the run. I hope the Colorado that played UCF and the Colorado defense that played Arizona, I hope those guys show up. I don't want the Baylor Colorado. I don't want the Baylor Colorado. I don't want the Baylor defense Colorado. I don't want them. I don't want the Kansas State defense to show up for this game. I need the Arizona defense to show up and the UCF defense to show up against the Cincinnati team. Because if we we are not able to stop the run and we are not able to slow them down, we are in trouble because this Cincinnati team can score. They've scored a ton of points. I think on one game they had 500 yards. That was the Texas Tech game. On another game, I think they had like 498 yards. And then on other games, they've had like 398, 400 yards. So this team can put up points. Don't let the Cincinnati facade like trick you. This football team can put up points. And so we are going to have to stop the run. We are going to need our good defense to step up because if they don't, we are going to be in a world of trouble. The other thing I'm going to say, and the final thing I'm going to say, is turnovers. I'm on record as saying I think Colorado needs turnovers to win games. I'm not going to back down on that because I think that's who this team is. I think this team is not great, but they're not terrible. I think they're kind of this middle of the tier team. And if that's true, you need a little help and a little bit of luck to help you. And usually what that means is getting turnovers. I think if this Colorado team is able to get turnovers against Cincinnati, I think it will help. My only concern, though, I will say this. Cincinnati is used to turning the ball over. Cincinnati is used to turning the ball over and then stopping the team and then making those turnovers obsolete. So not only does Colorado have to get turnovers, but they have to be able to score off of those turnovers. Do I think Cincinnati's defense is going to match up interestingly against this Colorado offense? Because I believe that a lot of the star receivers on Colorado's team are actually hurt and they're acting like they're not hurt and they're working through being hurt. If that is true, even just a little bit, that gives Cincinnati a little bit of end that they need. And that is scary. And so there's a lot of moving parts that will happen with this game. I think that Cincinnati matches up very well with Colorado. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the coaches call these games. It's going to be interesting to see how the players execute. And it's going to be very interesting to see who wins this turnover battle. The other thing I want to say here is Shedeur has more turnovers than I think we realize he has. And so I just kind of want to pay attention to that because I feel like almost every game, minus maybe one or two, I think I've seen him throw at least one interception. I'm not raising the alarm bells just yet, but just something to keep an eye on as we head in to play the Cincinnati team, because this Cincinnati team can score points. I'm not saying they're going to score points. I'm not saying they're going to run all over us, but if the Kansas State defense shows up, they might run all over us, but that's just my 2 cents. So at the end of the day, we all know I usually pick a team to win this game, and I said it in my video last time, and I'm going to say it again. I am going to pick Cincinnati to win this game because every time I've picked against Colorado, except for, I think, Nebraska, every time I've picked against Colorado this year, they have ended up winning the game. So I am going to pick Cincinnati to win this game on a hope that Cincinnati can take the NL. So I'm going to pick Cincinnati to win this game on the hope that my reverse psychology is still working great, on my hope that we can win the game, but I'm not going to pick them to win the game because that way they will prove me wrong. And I need them to prove me wrong, and I need them to go out there and win this game. So there you have it. I am going to pick Cincinnati to win this game. I am rolling with Cincinnati to win this game. So I really need Colorado to step up. I need their defense to step up. I need their coaches to step up. I need everybody to lock in. And I need everybody to show up and get ready for the task. I don't know about you all watching this video, but like I said at the beginning of this video, I came into this season thinking this Cincinnati game and this Cincinnati team was going to be a shoo-in W. We already knew who we had. I thought I knew who they had, and we were going to come in and we were going to be fine. And this is going to be a game that we win. We cannot lose this game to Cincinnati. I do not want to lose this game to Cincinnati. We have to win this game because if we don't win this game, I don't like the situation it puts us in. So I will get off the soapbox. We all understand the assignment. I hope Colorado understands the assignment. I hope that I am overreacting on my thoughts of the players that I think are more injured than we will ever know. I hope the media finds a way to start asking real questions. That would be fantastic, but I doubt that they will. But let's just see how this game goes. Let's see what Colorado team shows up. Quite frankly, let's see what Cincinnati team shows up. And let's just see what happens. All we can do is see what happens because at the end of the day, this is football. And if you don't run, and if you don't score points, if you don't do all the things you're supposed to do, you probably won't win the football game. So let's just see what happens. Let's see if my reverse psychology will continue to work, because if it continues to work, I'm not picking Colorado a single game the rest of the season. I'm always going with the other team. Anyways, I will end this video here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Let me have it in the comments below if you want to. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments below, but I would love to hear what you have to say about this game. I'm rolling with Cincinnati. So let's go, Cincinnati. Let's go.